Griffin Cole, athlete who I've coached the longest and the most. National champion in javelin
Yeah.
for youths, right?
Yes.
For youths, yeah. And now you're training, you're getting ready to go to university, you're figuring out everything,
hmm
and we're training together. We're training together a couple of times a week. You're playing volleyball. I just want to start off and like tell me some more about yourself. Tell me about like what you're doing with school and what you're working towards.
All right. Yeah. So I just started my senior year of high school. I attend St. George's School, which is a private school in Vancouver, and I'm primarily focused on studying sciences and math, like the STEM area, and I want to continue that subject forward and do engineering at university.
Nice. Where does javelin fit into the picture?
Um, Javelin's like honestly kind of relates to that. Like it's all about body mechanics, which relates to physics, chemistry, stuff like that. And I've always enjoyed like very numeric things, so like math, science, and javelin is always based on numbers, at least with results. And I've always enjoyed playing sports, whether that be like volleyball, baseball, and then I kind of fell in love with javelin for just the ability to like it's so basic and super fun, and it kind of allows you to experience like your body movements better than other sports.
Yeah, it's funny. So it's like javelin's very numeric and there's a lot of like hard numbers.
hmm
But I think that's probably the opposite of what you experience working with me a lot of the time.
Yeah, it is. So I found that in the past I was always so focused on just being like increasing the distance I could throw and not really focused on the process and how I was feeling when throwing. So I kind of went through a lot of injuries that way because I kept overthrowing and my technique was inadequate for what I was doing, and I just always was focused on just the end result. And then when I started working with Liz, I found that I was able to focus more on how my body was feeling and go through the positions in a more fluid way, which kind of reduced the amount I was injured and kind of helped me honestly improve more over the long run than just always focusing on trying to hit that distance every single practice, every single meet.
That's cool. I remember when I first started working with you, sometimes you get really upset at practice because you wanted it so badly. And I was like, I love how much this kid wants it. It breaks my heart to see him this upset.
Yeah,
Um,
so when I was younger, like kind of going back to that, I was always like, oh, this javelin didn't fly very far. But I, instead of thinking, why did it not? How am I feeling? What, like, I'm not in competition season and I may be like tired and maybe doing other things that all kind of impact that. And then also when you're working on new technique, you're not going to be hitting the throw 100% because you're breaking down certain mechanics to become better. And that's kind of where I got caught up when I was younger, where I was like, oh, the javelin's not flying farther, so this isn't working over like one or two practices instead of really giving it a shot and taking months or like almost a full season to refine it.
so you feel like I taught you a little bit of patience?
For sure, yeah. Patience is a big thing. I've always been an impatient person, whether like getting stuff, like if I don't get stuff right away, I sometimes get frustrated. So kind of like learning how to be patient and has like really improved not just my javelin, but also school and just life in general.
I think one of the biggest things I've tried to do with you is make it really fun. Even boring things. I'm like, how can we make this boring thing really fun? Because sometimes we got to do stuff.
Mhm.
So, do you remember any incidences that you were like, oh, I can make this fun, or do you remember any of the strategies that we used to try and just like make things more interesting, or just get you more in the moment that you really liked and that you've kind of carried over?
Well, I think the big thing is like kind of almost carrying like a bit of swagger in the way I like walk or throw. So like at practice, like sometimes like standing throws can be dull, but if I'm like kind of enjoying it, like kind of moving in between in between throws, like being fluid through my motions, like I find that has helped become like be like I was feeling less bored at practice, and also throwing to music definitely has helped a lot because it kind of like just makes your body feel like move to a beat, which increases the fluidness and also like fills in something like you're listening to something, and that makes stuff less boring as well.
So remember, I love that you said swagger. That makes me so happy that like you tap into that because I feel like for high school students, like you're just getting to know yourself. Like you're becoming an adult, you're figuring out who you are, what you like, what your vibe is, what your energy is, and you're kind of like testing things out. You're like, do I like this? No, not my thing. But I feel like with you, one day kind of we sat down and I said, okay, like there's all these different ways you can be. And if you're a video game character and you're starting out with a stock version, which is what you are now, and you want to turn into this version, what's the difference and how do you bridge that gap? And I was wondering, do you think that you've become slightly who you wanted to be or move towards that?
Yeah, I think so. I think in terms of like javelin, like at competitions, I've always be like in the past I was kind of always like nervous and too focused on like not like being around other athletes, not talking to other athletes. I was kind of just in my own head. And over the years, I've kind of become more like kind of more of an extrovert, I guess is the right word for it, where I feel like I'm able to express myself in the ways I want to, and I've also become more confident in the way I like walk around people, like talk around people, especially in like sports settings. And I think part of that is like as I've grown older, I'm like, okay, I don't have to be someone else. Like I can just be me. And I think I found the people who I fit in with best. Track and field, like as a community, is it's like you can be unique. You don't have to like be a part of a team and fit into a part of a team. You can be your own unique self while also being in this community. And I think that's something that's really impacted the way like I kind of view myself now.
Nice. That's cool. That's cool to figure out that early. That's what I loved about it. I was like, oh, I don't have to rely on you to make something work, but I can hang out with you. That's great. Like,
Mm.
that sounds like a blast. All right. My goal is to get this course and this information out to so many more athletes so that people can enjoy their sport, so that they can get to the next level, and so that they spend less time being worried or just not making the jump because of something really simple that could have been addressed. So, if you're going to tell something to other athletes, high school athletes or university athletes who are seeing the stuff that I'm putting out on Instagram, seeing any of their information that I'm doing, what do you think you would tell them if they're thinking about working with me or taking my course?
I think the big thing is your ability to help people kind of regulate their emotions um, during like sport. So one thing is again you get like all tense if you're frustrated. And if you can't ever get out of that spiral, you're never going to be able to look at the good things in your sport and really enjoy your sport. So, one thing about this course that would be really beneficial is learning how your emotions impact your body mechanics, which is relating your emotions and how your tension is through your body to sport.
All right, my last one, just because these are the fun ones too. So we talk about emotions and like psychology and how to make those things happen. But I love a good movement trick. I love like learning something about like gravity or momentum or understanding timing. And then I've had so many aha, I get it now moments. And then it impacts everything else. What is your one of your favorite physical things you've learned that's like a fun trick about like how to do something or how to learn something faster?
For me, like learning that everything is connected in your body. So it's not just about like whatever you do, there's another part of your body that can make it better. So if you're moving your arm up, you can use your core, you can use your spine, and there's so many different ways to move that well, still learning, but that I've learned to move better through like my spine instead of being like, okay, if I want to like throw a javelin, it's not all arm. Like you have to move from your legs to your core to your spine and learning how to move in different ways using like different mechanics. Like I've been working on rope flow, which involves a lot of core and rotation while also using the shoulders. And it kind of teaches you how to connect your body through an entire like one movement instead of just isolating certain parts.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
What are you doing for the rest of your night?
Um, Probably gonna sleep early.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to chill. Like I just finished probably the hardest week of my first term of high school, at least with university applications and stuff. So I'm just
Oh, yeah.
completely done. So I'm just gonna chill.
Amazing.